Hello, Star Citizens, and welcome to the Backwards Pillow. This is actually going to be a unique video. It's a video I have not done before. This is going to be a video where I actually answer a bunch of questions from the community that are here. So this is going to be, like I said, it's going to be a unique video because I have never done one of these before, but this is literally just a Q&A. I got the members to ask a bunch of questions, and I'm basically going to be answering them, not live, but like I didn't really like plan an answer for the questions, so I'm going to be, reading them and then answering them kind of on the spot. So if you see cuts for the video, it's just to cut out like empty space where I'm thinking or whatever, just to make it consumable. But it'll just be like I'll read it and then I'll think about my answer and then I'll answer the questions, just as like a prep for when I start doing the live sessions. So this will be open to everybody. I will have the way I'm gonna do it actually is I'm going to open up. So I'll have like a member thing where members can actually go in, and the top 3 questions that they ask, as in the ones that get the most likes for the members, those 3 will automatically make it to the show. And then the same thing will happen with non-members. So I will have like a post, and then the 3 questions that get the most likes, I'll automatically answer. So that's how I'll start every live stream, with the top 6 questions from all of those. And if those questions are like yes or no questions or something like that, then I'll expand it to where it can at least cover like a solid 20 minutes of the show. So then the rest will be questions that people ask live. So that way, going into it, you already know that there's going to be some questions that I answer that I had a little bit more time to think about. And then we can go based on the questions that people ask in the chat. So that way, at the very least, some of what's going to happen during the live stream. And again, those will be on both YouTube and on Twitch. So it's going to stream simultaneously on both. And I will be able to read chat from both. And it's looking like I have 2 days set already for the stream. One is going to be Saturday at, I believe it's 9. And then the other one is going to be Monday, and I haven't selected a time for that one yet. I have to see what my schedule looks like, but it will be during the day. So I'm thinking it'll be like 12 or something like that, like middle of the day. And then I'll pick another time in between 12 and 9 for a third day. Right now I'm letting the members choose between whether that's going to be Thursday or if that's going to be Wednesday. So there will be 3 streams, 3 1-hour streams a week, and one will be Monday for sure. One will be Saturday at 9 to start, and then that might change later. And then one will either be Wednesday or Thursday. So there you have it, kind of spread throughout the week. Streams, one on the weekend and then 2 during the week. And they're all going to be during different times. So it's a 12-hour window where you might not be able to catch the Monday one, but maybe you can catch the Wednesday one or Thursday one. And then if you can't catch either of those 2, then maybe you can catch the Saturday one. So that I think helps with, people that don't live in the United States, because I don't want it to be that only people in the United States can watch the streams. So with no further ado, let's get to these questions. So our first question, I'm going to answer all of these. Looks like there's 15. So first question comes from Soul Galaxia. Shout out to Soul. Topic 3. Topic 3 kind of goes with topic 2. I'm assuming this was, this is multiple questions. That's why. Homesteads. Do you think we will be able to hire and leave NPCs there to keep equipment running and production flowing? I actually do. I agree. I do think that will be the case, because I think in a game where you're going to have to let players log out, you're not going to be able to just make everything pause. I think obviously system wide you can take the assets out and just have it run in the background as like math or whatever. But you need it to be that if somebody shows up to that homestead and it's like out in the open, assuming it's not hidden or whatever, if it's out in the open, that they can attack it and take things or whatever. Now, obviously in higher security zones, they would have to get past shielding or whatever, and maybe these are armistice zones. So I don't know what that will look like, but I do think you should. I don't know if this will be everywhere, but I do think homesteads will have the ability. You'll be able to hire people to run your, farming or mining operation or whatever, and I think those are the people that you would have to risk being attacked while you were out. Now, it also depends on what you mean by homestead, because if you mean like your personal home, I don't think that should be able to be attacked or anything while you're not playing the game, because I just think that would be unfair. I think that should be completely your own and nobody else can access it. It should be a social zone only, like you literally can't pick anything up or grab anything unless you've been given express permission to do so. So now, but if you mean something outside of that, like generally like the things outside of your home, like maybe you set up a mining outpost or a salvage depot or something like that, I think those things should be left in the game, and those things should be able to be attacked if they're not in high security zones. So if it's a medium security or lower security zone, then those should be able to be attacked. If it's in a high security zone, then no. So, and I think that would, I think with the realism that they're trying to bring to the game, I just think that makes sense. I don't think that I want it to be that everything you do in the game is just this entity where you own the land and nobody can enter it and nobody can affect it at all, and it just stays the same. I think this type of game is too dynamic for that. All right, do you think we will have a Fallout vibe where maybe NPCs randomly show up and want to join your homestead? You said 2 goes with 3, so I'll read that one too. If so, what infrastructure is needed to run such an operation, and will they defend the homestead or run? So let's start with, do I think they'll show up randomly to join your homestead? I think it'll be like most things where if somebody's looking for a job, they'll come there, they'll have a particular set of skills, Liam Neeson style, and they will say, hey, this is what I can do and I need a job. And I think you'll have to choose whether you can actually use their skills or not. I mean, because they might be a sniper, but if you already have 5 snipers and you have 2 buildings and you don't need an extra sniper, then what are you going to do? But I think they'll have more than one skill. I think it would make sense for CIG because of the unlikelihood of running into the perfect NPC every time. It would make sense for CIG to do like some type of scale of like what skills they're like best at, all the way to skills that they're like able to do but just not as. So like, let's say every NPC has 5 major skills, right? And then every major, everything that's not a major skill is something that everybody can do just by nature of being a human, right? Like sweeping, cleaning, like stuff like that, picking plants or something maybe. And that's not to say people who do that, those are just simple tasks. I'm just saying, like, in general, we have to define something as simple. I would say maybe like their highest task, the one that they're best at, is like selling, right? So this is a person that you would put at a shop, right? And then maybe their secondary task is organization, right? So that might be somebody you put at a warehouse, and they would be perfect for running a shop, and maybe even managing a shop, because their organization and selling tasks are great. But then maybe like things that they're crappy at, because I think if you give them 5 good things they're great at, then you got to give them 5 things that they're bad at. And maybe their crappy thing is combat and bravery. So like you said here, will they defend the homestead or run? Well, this person would run, because that's one of their negative traits, is that they're not brave. So like, if they got a bunch of people on their side, they'll stay and fight. If it looks like they're going to win the fight, they'll stay and fight. But if it looks like it's going to get a little sketchy, that person with low bravery is going to be out. And I think that's kind of the way to work. I'm trying to remember things from ISCs from previous Citizen Cons. Like, and some of this I feel like I'm pulling from, and some of it I'm pulling from like just thinking about. But yeah, I don't know if it'll be five good things, five bad things. I'm just giving that as like an example. But I do remember Tony Z saying something about them having not like a full-on personality or anything, but they'll have like a game's version of like hopes and dreams, not like actual hopes and dreams, but like, you know, this person wants to be rich and that's like their North Star, and then this other person wants to be a hero, and then this other person wants to, you know, be the best salvager ever, and I think that's kind of going to be like their North Stars as far as NPCs. So you just have to find the right NPCs. And so will they show up randomly? To answer the question, I think yes, but I don't think you will always be able to use them, and I don't think that will be the primary way that you add people to your homestead. I think that'll be kind of a few and far in between thing. So much as I think like if you have a bar, maybe people are more likely to come to your homestead, and then you meet more people in the bar because that's where people meet at. And so maybe if you put a bar in your homestead, now you have more people coming. So if that's the case, then yes, they'll come to your homestead more. So there you have it. You heard it from Billionaire. Put a bar in your homestead. And if so, what infrastructure is needed to run such an operation? I think I have an answer for that. But I'm going to be very general about this answer because I have some secrets that I want to keep to myself. So I'm going to say this. What would you need to run a small town? Think about like a very small town with only like 100 people in it. What would you need, like the bare essentials for that town to run properly? Now, reduce that to what you would need in a video game. And then that's what I think you would need in this operation. And so I'll give you 5 things that are bare minimum that you're going to need, right? So the way they do it in the military is you need bullets, beans, and bandages, right? And so that means you need weaponry. You got to be able to defend yourself, whether it's from Copians or from bandits or whoever. You got to be able to defend yourself. You got to be able to feed everybody, and you got to have medicine to heal people who are hurt while you're defending everybody, right? So those are 3 things, right? So I think you're going to need some form of a hospital or hospital bed. It doesn't necessarily have to be a tier 1, but like at the very least a tier 3, bare minimum. We're talking bare minimum here. Then you're going to need some type of security force, whether it's people, vehicles, a ship, whatever it is. You know, I'm assuming you'll be able to hire NPCs to do this. And maybe they will be on ships flying above or whatever. And then of course you need bullets. Now bullets are, let me go back. I'm already on bullets. So bullets isn't just people that can fight. You also need equipment for those people. So like if they just got into a fight, they obviously are going to need more bullets because they expended those, right? But that also includes gas. It includes everything that's required for them to fight, right? And then of course you need food. So you're going to need a food source. So think farming or something like that, right? So because you're going to potentially run into combat, what jumps off from there? If your ship is broken, how do you fix it? Well, that means you're going to need some place to repair, right? So that means a repair facility becomes mandatory. So now you've already got 4 things that you need that are just basic, right? Where are you going to get repair stuff from? Like where are you going to get that from? Well, you're either going to get that from mining and refining, or you're going to get that from salvage, right? So then you can choose which one of those is best for the area. Do you live next to a mountain that has all of the things you might need? Or are you going to have to depend on like somebody going on salvage runs, finding old wrecks and then bringing RMC back? Or going to purchase it and bringing it in warehousing, whatever that is. And so there you have it. That's just a little bit, but you can kind of see the thought process there. Like, you have to think through, what do you want your homestead's basics to be? And then like, how will things work? How do things connect? And that's how you go through it. And I have like, I would show you all like my plans, but I I worked too hard on them to like share all of them. So you'll have to figure out your own. All right, moving on. I remember hearing that you're a veteran. Yes, this is true. Which branch? Army. How long? 9 years and 1 day. And I can't give you minutes because technically that doesn't count. But 9 years and 1 day exactly. How long? That was 9 years and 1 day. And what was your career? So I actually had technically 3 careers. So first I was field artillery, tactical data specialist. So I was a field artillery guy. We basically, there's these very large guns and they shoot very large rounds very far, and if they land on you, it's a bad day, right? And there's people who load those weapons, there's people who aim those weapons physically, and then there's people who do math to figure out where those weapons should aim, and they check meteorological data and stuff like that. That's what I did. I did that last one where I checked the meteorological data and stuff. That was my job that I was given. But if you know the military, especially if you know the Army, there is a thing called needs of the Army. And basically, if your job does not have a mission wherever you are headed to, which is overseas, and I did do 2 tours, one in Iraq and one in Afghanistan, then you know that that's not particularly your job. So yes, I went overseas, and that is not the job that I did overseas. I was personal security detachment and all types of other stuff on my first deployment. And then my second job that I actually went to school for was information technology, because I very quickly got tired of the combat side of things, and I started thinking about long term and what I wanted to be when I got out of the military, whether it was through retirement or not. And yes, so I switched to computers and I did IT, you know, A+, Network Plus, Security Plus, all that stuff back then. It was the bee's knees. And so I did that type of work, and that's when I went to Afghanistan. And yeah, and then somewhere near the like last 3 years, I want to say last 3 years, I got a above top secret clearance. Well, you can say above top secret. It sounds fancier than it is. It's top secret, secret compartmentalized information. That's all it is. And it just means you know certain stuff that could be damaging if people find out. Anyway, so my job changed to something else when I was doing that. And I won't discuss that on the YouTubes. But it was fun and it was interesting, and I did that for 3 years before I got out and medically retired. So that's what you will get from me. Let's see. And my current career, I'm actually a professor at university, and that's what I do outside of my YouTube hours. Also, what do you think makes you and your channel different, unique from other Star Citizen YouTubers? Well, if you've been watching for a while, which I believe Radium TX has, I actually don't remember the exact lengths of all of the times that you all have watched. But one thing that I did, and this is something that I think I've talked about before, is I felt like I needed to earn the views. Like I wanted to earn the watch of everyone. Like I didn't want to just be a normal YouTuber, right? So one thing I did was I watched every single ISC. I went back, watched every single Inside Star Citizen, and I watched every Star Citizen live, and I watched all of the Citizen Cons, and I took notes and tried to learn things. And then I kind of did the same with another. I actually went and watched all of Info Runners. I'm pretty sure every video. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure I watched every video, but I don't want to say I watched every single video because there might be 1 or 2 I missed. But I did my best to watch every video because they were like, you know, I saw the Tony Z presentation and I saw Info Runners and I saw the things they were talking about, and that's what kind of brought me to it. So I did my research. That was the first thing. Now, whether or not I can recall that information like that, no. But generally when people talk about things, I can like recall a little bit. So that was the first thing. I did my research. The second part and I think this is big. So I technically started the YouTube channel 2 years ago in 2021, or I guess that'd be 3 years ago now, right? But I didn't actually post any videos. I posted one video, which was like my intro video, just to see how YouTube worked, and to see if I could figure out how to do video editing, because I have no video editing history whatsoever. That should be very obvious to most people who do video editing that I have no experience. Everything I know I figured out through the internet. So I started it 2 years ago, but then I only uploaded that one video just to see if it worked. And then I didn't upload any videos again for another year and a half. So I actually started this YouTube channel the way that it's running now. I started it December 4th, 2023. So that's the date that I count as actually starting my YouTube channel. And the unique thing I've done is I've released one video for every day that I've been active as a YouTuber. So let's do a quick thing. You can mute here because I'm about to do the OKGOOGLE thing. So mute here. Hey Google, how many days has it been since December 4th, 2023?
There are 281 days.
281 days as of the filming of this video. Okay, so let me go to my channel real quick and see how many videos I've done as of today. I have done 300 videos. So this should be my 301st video. So I've been active for 281 days. I've done 300 videos. How many YouTubers do you know have done that? And this is to me is the hard work part, right? Like, so one thing you might be smarter than me, you might know a few more things than me, but I'll be a monkey's uncle if you are gonna outwork me. That's gonna be very difficult to do. So I know that I'm a very hard worker, and I put that into these videos. So I actually should probably have celebrated. I didn't even know I hit 300 videos. I just had my head down like working. But 300 videos, wow, that's a lot of videos. And yeah, 281 days, and I've done 300 videos. So that's another unique thing about me. I'm also, I don't know, I'm certain somebody has done it, but I'm also doing this thing where I want to review every single ship in Star Citizen by CitizenCon. So that would be from December 4th to October 19th is when it starts. So I have a little bit over a month. I have like 40 days from the time you see this. No, it should be 39 days from the time you see this until CitizenCon to get, I think I have like 35 more ships to do. So I'm also reviewing every single ship in Star Citizen, including the ones that are being released along the way. So that's a unique thing that I think about, that I do about me. Another thing is, if you look at the times for all my videos, I think 99% of them have a very unique timestamp, which isn't a big deal, but it's kind of like I don't know, you can call it an OCD thing, where like you'll see like 24 is the length of a video, or 2222 is the length of a video, or 10 minutes flat, or 8 minutes flat, or 808, or things like that. So it's a unique thing. I try to keep it going. I've messed it up a few times, I think, because it like YouTube adds like a 0.2 seconds to certain things, and it wasn't my doing. It was me figuring out what YouTube was. Yeah, and I'm sure there's other things, you know, I'm sure people can put in the comments. Another one other thing, I wouldn't say this is unique, but it's certainly different. I try to respond as much as I can in the comments. I really do appreciate that everybody watches these videos. You guys don't, or maybe you do know, but I know I like to talk about it a lot. Like, being a YouTuber is such a privilege. It's such an amazing thing that I can like come to this room in my house and just talk about this game that I love and have people watch it, and then, you know, eventually make a career out of that. I just think that's an incredible thing. So yeah, that's part of why I make sure I give away a ship. Even though I'm a brand new YouTuber, people that only have 5,000, I don't even have 5,000 subscribers. I have like 4,300 or something. What do I have? Like 4,360 or something like that. And I'm already giving away a ship every month. And it's not because it's not really about the money. It's about like just giving back to this community that's like letting me do this cool thing that I just think it's so cool to be able to like come and talk about a game. So yeah, those are some unique things or different things about my channel. I will slow down on the videos though. I think, you know, once I hit 365, that's a video for every day of the year. So I think that'll be good. But I really enjoy making these videos, so don't think I'm overworking. Once CitizenCon hits, I'm gonna slow down. But right now, it's no breaks. And when I slow down, I think the quality of the videos will be even better. Because it is hard to make quality videos at this rate. But I do think it's kind of like me earning my stripes. Moving on, back to Soul Galaxia. So discussion topic 2 for me. Oh, okay, this is topic 2. Preface on my experience. I've spent 25 years working in and around dozens and dozens of different manufacturing and warehouse industries. How far do you think they will go with production and crafting? I think they will go very far with production and crafting, because I think at a certain point, it will help them for us to do production and crafting as players, because then they don't have to build out as many planets and stuff, because the players will go and build them, right? Like maybe they can start working on a new system or something and building out the new system while we, the players, are constantly building, you know, outposts and cities and stuff. And maybe what they'll do is say, hey, you started this outpost 6 months ago. What we're going to do is we're going to come to your outpost and we're going to build us next to it. That's going to like make you a bunch of money or something like that. And like maybe you have like some special, you know, thing in that you can do inside of that city or something. I don't know. But I do think it'll be a very heavy system. When will we get that system? Years. I think base building will be a heavy topic this year at CitizenCon. And I really hope they lean into it for the year of 2025. But the level of it that we're going to get when it comes out is going to be tier 0, tier 1, tier 0 mostly. But in the future, 5-6 years from now, I think it's going to be, I don't think there's going to be anything like it. So yeah, I'm super excited for that. My first goal in Star Citizen right now, it's kind of tied, but I'd say science is my first goal and then base building is my second. So I'm super excited for that, like super excited. Let's see. Will we have conveyors from one machine to another? Oh, so specifically with warehousing and industries, let me limit my question to that. Will we have conveyors from one machine to another? I think they're taking it to the point of realism and bring it back to the point of fun, right? I don't think it'll go to the level of satisfactory that you said here. It says we will need to supply the correct voltage power to each piece of equipment. I think it'll be so much. I don't think it'll be that level. At least not early on. Because I don't know how fun that would be for everybody. Like for you as somebody who works in the industry or has worked in the industry, I think that might be a little bit more fun for you, or maybe not. I don't know. But I think you're going to have to do things with refineries, and you're going to have to do things where I think like in the warehouse, if you have a warehouse, like certain things are going to go bad, they're going to spoil, or they might explode if they're put next to the wrong thing. They might be magnetic and mess something else up. So I think it's going to be more gamified rather than like trying to recreate the traditional factory. And I think that'll be for the benefit of the game. So I hope that answers that. Let's see. Top 5 ships you are most excited for. So I'm assuming this is concept ships. It's gonna be ships that I own, except for maybe one. So, yes, the biggest one is probably gonna be one that I don't own because it doesn't exist. I want an Argo Science capital or Argo Science sub capital. I would be okay with a sub capital. I don't want it to be large. I want it to be at least sub capital size. But at the same time, I don't think we're going to get that because we have the Endeavor. So that's why, but I think that's the capital one. That's why I would say subcap. But I want it to be science focused. Oh, what did I do? Oh, I refreshed it. But I want it to be science focused. I don't want it to be modular or anything. I want it to be like, this is a science ship. And I don't know if I would get that, because it's kind of, you know, I think it would help them build the Endeavor by getting that type of gameplay in. And I don't know exactly what science gameplay is going to be, but you can look at the Endeavor to kind of figure that out. So it's going to be like data gathering and collection, data analysis. It's going to be like sample gathering, sample collection, sample analysis. I think it's going to be, you know, maybe some parts from animals, parts from the universe, like, you know, minerals and elements, and then energy sources and things like that, and hitting certain things with certain particles, you know, super collider, right? So I think science is one of the most interesting things to me in a game like this, because you just don't see it in that many games. And base building, I think, you know, that's going to be really cool too. So I think as far as ships I'm looking forward to, that might be, maybe that should be an honorable mention, because that's not a ship that actually exists. So I'll try to answer it with the rest of them with actual ships that I'm looking for. So let me find my list of ships, and it's pretty much going to be all ships that I have, because I don't think we could start off with the Kraken though, because I do know that the Kraken is one of the ships I'm looking forward to the most. Just seeing how it's put in game and what it's going to end up being. Let's see. The Pioneer, the Polaris would have been on the list, but it's kind of coming out, so it's not on the list anymore. So Kraken, Pioneer, Nautilus. Let's see. Orion, Kraken, Polaris. No, Kraken, Pioneer, Nautilus, Orion. I'm gonna go Banu Merchantman. Yeah. The Endeavor is not going to come out for a very long time, so it would be on my list, but it's just not, because I the amount of time I'm going to wait for that, there's no reason for me to be that excited right now. When they start saying we're building it, that'll become my number one, but for now, no. All right, I'm trying to go a little faster, because I don't even know how long this video is. This is very long. Any unique uses for ships you think people don't think about? Unique uses for ships. I think a lot of these will work as bases. A lot of ships are built, I mean, and maybe people do think about this, but it just doesn't, I don't hear it talked about enough. Some ships will work as, like, you can just land it and then never touch it again. All you got to do is just refuel it, and this could be your house, it could be your home, it could be where you live, right? And so that's the way I think of an 890 jump. I don't think I would fly it anywhere. I would land it on a planet, and that would be my house that I live in, and maybe throw parties in or whatever. And I would just live in the 890 jump, not really take it anywhere, you know? And that's kind of, I think when I started buying a bunch of ships, that's the way I started thinking of them. Like, I could build this building, right? I could take my Pioneer and build this building, but I could also just live in this ship. And I think a lot of people should think about that as, like, if I build a homestead or whatever, right? Why not, you know, land a ship and live in the ship until my homestead or my home itself looks as good as the ship, or provides more than the ship provides. When I play D&D, I'm always the outside the box thinker of the group, so I try to come up with unique ways to tackle problems, and sometimes having ships that can serve multiple roles can allow us to uniquely overcome challenges. I love using Swiss Army knife ships. Crucible, Liberator, Ironclad. It's a cargo ship, but it's big enough to be a carrier too, so that opens up other use cases. So yes, I have, I won't ruin it, but go and watch I did a video with the info runners, a fix my fleet with the info runners, and I kind of gave away a lot of my secrets as far as, like, what I'm going to be doing in the game and why my fleet is the way my fleet is. Why? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it explains my fleet a lot in that video. So I'm kind of, that episode we did is epic. It's long. And X already kind of gave it away, so I can say it now, but that's the longest fix my fleet that Info Runners has ever done. So, and I think it went that way because I was such an Info Runners fan that I already knew most of what they would say. And then there was certain stuff that I was just kind of in denial about, like trying to keep myself from doing, because, you know, you don't have to follow all of their rules or whatever, and nobody told me I had to or whatever, but I just really agreed with a lot of their logic. and then some of it I didn't agree with because some of it I'm not going to follow. But that's not what Fix My Fleet is about. It's not about them barking orders at you. It's about them helping you fix your fleet. And they had some really great things to say, and it really changed the way I thought about my fleet. And so, yeah, it's going to be a great episode. I mean, even not just to like see what like I agreed with and what I didn't agree with, but the conversation we had was incredible. So go and check that out. And X, if you're watching, just know that I listened. I have notes. I wrote them down, and I followed a lot of it. So just wait. Don't judge the fleet until you've seen the fleet and the changes. So you can't judge it until after IAE. But I'll see you. I'll see you at CitizenCon. You and Algorit. I'll see both of you out there, and I will tell you things in person that will not be shared here. Okay? All right. All right. Let's see. Only one important question out in the verse. Are you a ramp or lift guy? I am a ramp guy. And the reason I'm a ramp guy is because lifts are always limited by the things that drop them down and lift them up. And that's what I don't like about lifts. Obviously, you can make a lift bigger, but a ramp, because it only needs one hinge, it goes down and up, down and up. And it's normally the opening of a ramp is as wide as the ship is. So you can fit so much more stuff in it. Whereas a lift goes up, down, and it's normally blocked off. And then let me give you a good example of why, when I started to prefer ramps, it was the 400i. Because for some reason, the lift, I don't know why, but they put the pillars of the lift in the middle instead of all the way out to the edge, and just let the whole room drop down. That would have made way more sense to me, or the majority of the room. And then you could fit way more stuff on there, but for some reason, we're limited by the amount they chose to give the lift. Now, you could say that's a dev problem, and they could have just opened it up more, but that's the life of lifts right now. So that's why I prefer ramps. If they change it in the future, I'll become a lift guy, maybe. We'll see. Not certain if you have ever covered it, but it might be interesting to look at master modes from a non-combat focused player. That's not really a question, but let's see. Master, I don't have a problem. I'll talk a little bit about master modes. I don't have a problem with master modes. I have a problem with the fact that most people that I know that play the game well have a problem with master modes. So what do I mean by that? If I don't play Star Citizen enough to where I think I could be like a controlling voice on these things, but I know people who play Star Citizen almost every day or every other day, and they play for hours at a time. And if those people come to me and they tell me master modes is not great for this and this, and they give me specific reasons. They're not just like the people who are yelling into the void and are angry at everything. These are people who genuinely love Star Citizen and they just wanted to do well. It's like I've heard very valid complaints about master modes, and that's what concerns me. It's why I pulled back from playing Star Citizen as much, because I want them to balance it out and figure it out first. I have these sticks, and I talked about these. I have these really expensive sticks that I spent all this money on. These Virpil Alpha Prime sticks, and I got this. I got the rudders and everything, right? But the reason I bought all that stuff is because I was like, okay, we're getting master modes, and everything's gonna be final, so I can finally learn how to fly and set all my buttons and keep them that way, and really get into like a muscle memory kind of thing with my flying. It's been very difficult. Every time I've logged into the game, you can ask Darsh and all those guys I play with. Darsh, if you're seeing this, tell them in the comments. Well, you don't have to, but you've seen some of the gameplay videos I've made where I've blown up the ship, or I got left behind, or I accidentally shot the wrong person. A lot of that is me trying to get used to these new controls. Now, I do kind of suck at Star Citizen. I'm just going to be straight with you. I'm not trying to avoid that. I kind of suck at Star Citizen, but I don't suck that bad, like to the point where I should be blowing stuff up and stuff like that. But I'm trying to get used to all these new controls I have. And one thing I noticed about master modes is it keeps changing a little bit, and I need it to be a lot more level before I reinvest in the game. And that's what I don't like about master modes. It's kind of in its growing pain stage, and it is painful. So I don't hate master modes. I actually really appreciate master modes, and I'm glad they went with it. I just think they need to listen a little bit more to the people who play the game. And Avenger 1 makes great points all the time. However you feel about Avenger 1, he's making great points all the time. And he actually has an interview, I think it's on Space Tomato's channel, where I think Space Tomato got Yogi to come on, and Yogi and Avenger, they kind of talked a little bit. So it was a pretty good, but even still, I don't think that conversation led to things changing. And I don't know to the extent that Yogi can even change things, but he's the master modes guy. So hopefully that conversation was fruitful, and hopefully as it balances out, more people will like it. Let's see. Soul Galaxia filled this thing up. Okay, Soul. What is your perspective on how industrial gameplay will go in Pyro? Do you think Pyro is Vulture or Prospector safe without escorts? To the answer to that second question, absolutely not. You are going to get destroyed, because I think Pyro's a ganker's paradise. Industrial gameplay, I think you're better off focusing on like I would go to Pyro, and then I would mine, you know, I would do a lot of on ground mining. I don't think I would be out in the verse. I would be on a planet in a controlled environment, hopefully in some caves. I think they're going to have acidic caves and different types of caves and stuff. So I think I'm going to do a lot of rock mining and stuff if I'm solo, right? Unless I have like an armada. If I have like 5 or 6 people with me and I have people to pull security and things like that, I think industrial gameplay in Pyro will be, you will make a lot of money, but you definitely will need security most places that you go, because I think it's going to be a PvP nightmare in the good way and the bad way. So yeah, will there be a better chance of running into bigger and better Quantanium rocks or bigger and better panels for salvage? I think so. I think there will be, I think you're gonna go to Pyro, and most PvP areas I think are gonna have a lot of money making opportunities for everyone, industrial or otherwise. And I think that's what is going to push people to go to Pyro, because the amount of money you're making Stanton is still going to be great. Like, you'll still be able to become rich in Stanton. It'll just take you a little bit longer than if you went to Pyro. Because imagine, for instance, like you said, salvage, right? Imagine, you know, yes, there might be more Quantanium rocks as far as mining, but for salvage, right? Maybe like, you get one, you know, let's say one like capital size salvage vessel every day in Stanton, but in Pyro you get 3 per day, right? So technically you would make more if you went to Pyro. You would make more for that day because you got 3 capital size vessels to salvage. You get what I'm saying? And I think the same thing with Quantanium is like, maybe, you know, Quantanium sells for more because there's less of it out there, and so maybe you do the same amount of, there's the same amount of Quantanium, but it sells for more because it's such a limited resource out there. They don't have as many people bringing it to them or whatever. So maybe you go to Pyro to do the Quantanium mining, and that's what, you know, makes you more money. So there is that. That's kind of what I'm thinking. Will we get more money for products in standard Pyro? I think certain things in Pyro will sell more, and I think most things will sell for more, just because it's lawless and they just won't have the same resources and ways to purchase things, right? Like they don't have as many set zones where you can purchase all these things, because the trade routes will be broken and stuff, because it's all run by gangs. So I think most things will sell for more in Pyro, but I think there will still be some things that you get in Stanton that are, you know, more, that sell better in Stanton. My thoughts on 4.0. I want to answer this, but I'm starting to forget what's even in 4.0. So let's start at the top. All right, so additional player customization, great, looking forward to it. We need more hairstyles CIG, but they just did a video about that, so I give you your props, CIG. Thank you for including the hairstyles. Pyro, I was super excited for Pyro, but now that it's been pushed back, I don't really care about Pyro. I know I just talked a lot about Pyro. I don't care. I don't even think I'll be going there for the first few months, because I don't think I'll be playing as much. I don't think I'm really going to get into the game until I know what's coming after 4.0. Once I know what's coming after 4.0, which I do believe will be 1.0, but I need 4.0 to exist and be stable before I get back into the game. And I need master modes to kind of be on level tier 2 before I get back into the game heavily. I still play, I just won't be playing as much. But Pyro, I'm nonplussed about. I will visit just to kind of look around, but I won't be taking anything. I won't be doing a lot of missions. I'll really just be like, hey, let me go look at here and look at there, and you know, I'll probably fly around while I answer some questions on the stream or something. But acidic caves, I am excited for those, but I don't know if those will only be in Pyro. And rock caves, that was the other type of cave I was trying to think of. Asteroid bases, I'm excited for. Space stations being contested zones, I think that is a really cool. I do think they need to edit that a little bit. I think they need to listen to the community on that. Yes, moons on Pyro. I'll probably be spend more time at the moons than the planets, depending on what they have on them. Jump points, I am excited for jump points. I just kind of wish there was more place to go than Pyro, because again, I'm not nonplussed for Pyro. I do think it's going to be fun to just go through a jump point, though. I think that, like, so many people have been waiting for that. I don't want to, like, lessen that. I am super excited for the jump point itself, just not where the jump point is taking me. At least not right now. Outposts and colonialism, I am super interested in outposts. I really, really can't wait until we can do base building. I want to build my own outposts. I want them to become like, I have this whole plan where I'm going to create trade routes and certain things like that. I'm going to build routes. Well, I'm not going to give you all of my details, but I have, and I know I'm not the only one that's thought of it, but yeah. And space stations and Pyro, Pyro's moons, AI, the Quasi-Grazer, I'm excited for what it can give me. I still don't understand the tongue thing. I think that's a little weird, but I'm glad they have eggs, I guess, because then you could just kind of grab them and maybe you don't have to kill the thing or try to milk it. They have to put a milking animation into the game. So I'm looking forward to those. Fire hazards, I'm kind of like, I get why we're getting it. I think it's a very weird thing. I guess I'm not, I want there to be fire hazard, but I guess I'm wondering, why is that so important to 4.0? I like putting out fires is not a thing that I'm like, oh yay, like I want to do that so quickly that you should put that in a very soon patch. And maybe it's because it'll be, they had to work on it for something else, Squadron 42, and maybe they're just like put it in there. But it seems more like an add-on. I'm not particularly, I think their fire graphics and VFX team, I think they did a great job. The graphics and VFX team, I think they did a great job on it. It's just not a thing that I'm looking forward to. I think it'll be fun a few times, but then after a while, I'll just be like, I don't want to do it anymore. Location repair. This was the new thing that they kind of announced, and I am super excited for repair because that means I might be getting that Vulcan. And if you watch my videos, that Vulcan is going to be my daily driver. So I'm really excited for that because I want to just grab a Vulcan and go out and repair stuff. Like, I think that's going to be just a fun thing to yeah, so I'm super excited for location repair, even though that's not, obviously that's part of engineering, that type of repair. I'm just saying it makes me excited because it makes me, now I know they're thinking about repair, and that means that it's very possible that a repair ship could be coming. Still speculating. Engineering, I am legitimately excited for. I do think, you know, running around, fixing parts and putting things, you know, putting power relays in and all that stuff, I think is going to be great. I don't think I'll be excited for it until 4.0 though. I think I need like a tier 2 of it or tier 3 of it to be really excited, because I want it to work well. I want it to be that if I'm a really good engineer, that it shows. I don't want it to just be like, oh, we didn't die. I want it to be like, oh, you really were good at what you were doing, and it shows up somehow. I think there should be buffs. If you're really good at engineering, it should buff your ship a little bit, like maybe gives it 15% extra this or that, you know. And so that's what I'm waiting for engineering, but I am excited for it to start. Life support, I am super excited for. No more putting 3 million people in one ship with standing room only. Like, it just makes sense that, you know, you can't breathe in there because there's not enough oxygen for all those people, right? I just think that adds to the realism. Solar bursts, that's awesome. Like, I really just want to go to Pyro. Like, that's one of the major things I want to experience in Pyro is like a solar burst. I just want to be standing out there and, you know, relive the Terminator 2 Judgment Day explosion where they're standing on the gate and it's just all of a sudden a skeleton. I don't know if that's how it works. I'm pretty sure that's not how it works, but I want to do it one time for solid day. MFD rework and new displays. I'm super excited for that. We've needed those for a long time. They kind of gave us a preview and I'm already excited. Multi-tool updates. I am happy that those are coming. Getting the cutting and the battery thing, that just makes it more realistic. The charge and drain function I think is going to be really cool. That's going to help with the repair. What is it called? The location repair thing. And I just think those multi-tools need to do more multi things in general. So, and charge drain, I just talked about that. Fire extinguishers with the fire. Like I said, I think it'll be cool initially, but I think at some point we'll be like, there's too many fires. And I don't think it'll be as fun. Server meshing is the single most important thing that is coming with 4.0. And if it works correctly, it'll be one of the crowning achievements of CIG. So obviously this one. And I just think it's going to solve so many issues. That's part of why I thought what I really wanted was 3.23 and 3.24. I thought that's what I wanted. But what I really want is stability, and I want the ability to play the game and have it be a game. And so I think that shifted for me. Once they split 3.23 and 3.24 up, it shifted for me. Like, I didn't want that as the only thing anymore. I started to want more. And I think that's part of that CIG's fault. Hey, like, if you would have just gave me all of what I wanted at the same time, I probably would have had my excitement level higher, and I think it would have been, but hey, you know, I get it. Things happen, things get delayed. So it is what it is. But yes, server meshing is why I'm deciding to wait. Once we get server meshing, I feel like a lot of problems will be fixed. It'll create a lot of more problems too, but I think we'll be working on the in-game problems rather than working on stuff that's been, you know, been a problem for years. Same thing with the mission system refactor. I think, you know, all this stuff is just going to make everything work better. Same thing with the transit system refactor. All this is like server meshing stuff. And once all that happens, I think for when I'm really going to buckle down and stuff and start really playing Star Citizen. And that's probably when you'll see my videos change a little bit, and I'll start doing like streaming sessions where I'm actually playing the game and everything, because I want it to be stable. I don't want a bunch of load screens. Oh my goodness, how many of these have I made it past? This video has got to be super long. I can't actually see the time that it's been running, so if it's long, hey, it is what it is. But I'm answering all these member questions, folks. Let's see what we got. Is 4.0 further along than what we anticipate? No, it is later than what we anticipated. I'm not 100% sure it will even get it in Q4. I think it might actually be a January drop. But I think they'll really push to get it out. I think we'll get most of it before. I think we'll get a 4.0, and then I think we'll get a 4.1 in January. That's how I think it's going to drop. I think they'll split it into two the same way they did .23 and .24. So that's just the way that's what I think about it. What are you looking forward to most when 4.0 drops? Server meshing. What do you think server meshing will actually solve a lot of issues with? Do I think it'll solve a lot of issues? Yes. I think it will create a lot of issues though as well. So I think it'll solve a lot of issues, but then I think the issues will be easier to solve. So like things that were a problem before that they were like, oh my God, how are we going to fix this? I think will just start to kind of melt away. And that means whatever it means, I guess. I was just thinking about sending you a DM about this. I'd like to hear your thoughts on the ship gray market. Personally, I have two views. First, if you're doing to be a completionist on your fleet, all good. Or if you're doing to make some cash, I can understand that. But if you're just trying to get a ship to fly that is always limited sales, I think that's the wrong reason. With a few exceptions, everything that is flyable is purchasable in-game all the time. And there are groups out there who are more than happy to team up with you to help you grind some credits in-game. That is a great point, Pelintan. So what do I think about the gray market? I like it. I think as long as you're doing it safely, you know, make sure you're doing it on the right websites. I'm not going to plug anybody's website because they ain't paying me yet. If you want me to plug you, then give me them ad dollars. But no, there's a few that are very reputable, and I really appreciate what they do. All the ships are overpriced, obviously, if you're buying off the gray market. But one thing that you can do that I just found out about that I probably should have known, considering how long I've been following this game, you can buy credits from people and then buy your ships like with the credits. For instance, like somebody might send you like let's say five, I don't know, what's a $400 ship? Let's say somebody sends you 5 ironclads, right? So that's a $400 ship. So that's $2,000, right? $2,000 worth of credits, right? And maybe they say, I'll sell you these 5 ironclads for 1,000, right? So you're getting them half off. And then you take the $2,000 worth of credits and let's say you buy a Kraken or something, or Kraken Privateer, which is a $2,000 ship. Well, technically you just got that $2,000 ship for 1,000. It won't show up in your account, but you just got that ship for 1,000. So that's something I think is really cool. I never thought to use it like that, but that's a thing that I wouldn't do that unless, of course, I was already concierge, because I don't think you want to waste that amount of money without becoming at least concierge first. So 1,000 spent in game. If you're not at that level, you probably shouldn't be using the gray market to purchase that type of stuff anyway. But I like the gray market, most of it. I don't like that people are selling alpha UEC. That's such a weird thing to me. Like, it's gonna be gone once the game releases, and we'll switch from alpha UEC to UEC. So I don't like that part of it. But I do like the ship stuff for the most part. You know, whatever people want to buy. I've bought like certain things where I didn't want to wait on the limited sale, but I wanted the upgrade just to be done with it. Because like sometimes you get tired of the CCU game to the point where I just want to finish this chain and be done with it, so I can take it off my list. So I've done that a few times. I've never spent more than $40 to do it though. Like I bought like an upgrade to something that I could have bought somewhere else, but I just bought it off of the gray market just to be done with that line. But yeah, you know, I like the gray market. I wouldn't say I'm a huge fan, but I do kind of agree with your reasoning there. You know, do it for completions. Do it for the rare stuff. There's no reason to buy anything that's not rare on the gray market. You know, buy the rare stuff. Like, I would buy a Saber Raven, but everybody is absolutely insane with the prices that they're offering. Like, if somebody was like, for instance, if somebody was like, I paid $500 to buy the graphics card, right? And I have this graphics card, which I think was like the Optum 900p or something like that. And I have the Saber Raven, right? The $500, most of that was for the graphics card, not the Saber Raven, right? So if somebody's like, I'll give me $500 and I'll just give you the Raven, I'm like, what? No. Like, maybe if you had it unopened or something. I mean, generally it might be unopened, but I don't know. But that, even still, I'm like, that's a lot, right? If people really wanted to make money, I think we kind of know the value of it is like 185 to 200. Well, considering its rarity, let's say the value of it is 250, right? I think people are charging insane prices for them. Like, just make $100, $200, $300, whatever. But $500 for a Raven, I can't do it. I can't do it. It's too much. It's one step too far. I think the most I would probably pay for a Raven is like 300. And that's because the Raven isn't worth that much money. It just isn't. Like, I will be able to earn a Raven in game. If I'm going to get one now, it's because I want to use it now, or because I just want the rarity of having it with LTI before, before the game starts or something, right? So I think if I'm buying this code from you, right, because I'm not buying your account, I'm just not doing that because I want it on my account. So if I'm buying this account, I'm only going to spend like the most expensive ships in the game. Like, what is the most expensive ship in the game as far as like this level, right? Like a medium fighter, essentially. And so I think, okay, the glaive is 350, so that's probably the max. I could probably do 350 in cash for a code for the Saber Raven. So that's my only thing, is I just think there's certain ships that I would love to purchase on the gray market, and I would definitely purchase on the gray market if people were more reasonable about their prices. So there you have it. What else we got? What sort of add-ons do you like when you're playing? So I have the Verpal Prime, Constellation Alpha Primes. I do have a Toby. I don't have Copilot or Reshade. I have, what else do I have? I have, what is this thing? The Razer Tartarus version 2 Pro. I have that, so it's like a little handheld thing. Actually, I can show it to you. I have this thing, so it's like you put your hand on it, and this is kind of like my move thing. And this thing doesn't work, so I don't know if I should have returned it or what. But I've heard that these things sometimes don't work, but I don't care enough to return it, because this was just like if it works, that'll be cool. But if it doesn't, oh well. But I might try to return it, since I'm not going to be using it for a while. So I might try to return it and see if like I can get this fixed. If I can, I can, but not that big a deal to me. But that's another thing that I use. I'd like to be able to use that little stick to move around, and then just use the rest of the buttons for like guns or whatever, or other movements and stuff. And then I could kind of just sit back with my hands like this, and kind of like put my chair all the way back, and just kind of like veg out while I'm playing Star Citizen. Because I can't really do that now, because most of the time I'm like up on the keyboard like this, and I'm in intense, and my sticks are back here too. So my sticks sit on the chair, so like I can be on this, and then when I'm walking, I can like go hand to mouse, and then hand to Razer Tartarus, and then do everything else, and then just switch back. I think it's just more, it works better that way. So that's the stuff I have. I have an Astro A50 headset. I have what else? That's it. I do the face tracking. I have a webcam. That's it. Oh, the rudders. I have whatever the super expensive rudders are from Verpal. I have those. And yeah, I think that's all my gaming gear. Obviously, I got the chair from Secret Lab. It's got all the little. I have all the I think it was MT Sim, I think is the name of the company. I have all the mounts and stuff to put everything on my chair. Got that stuff from MT. Let's see. Your perfect ship. If you were able to build one in SC, of course it has to be within reason. No do-it-all ships. Interesting. My perfect ship in Star Citizen. My perfect ship would be a science to... It would be a science to construction ship that could do combat. So that's 3 things. That's not all things, but that would be my perfect ship. It would be a subcap. It would do science. It wouldn't do all versions of science. It would only do building types of science, like so material, nothing that had to do with like life, like wildlife or plants or anything like that. It would be building science, right? Like it would be, materials, creating new energy sources, mining elements and minerals and stuff like that. And then it would also be able to, I guess it wouldn't need to refine, but I think it should have the ability to create. So I don't know if construction ships can I would be okay with taking my materials to go and refine them elsewhere. That it doesn't have to have that capability, but the ability to create something that needs to be refined, and then go get it refined, and then come bring it back to your ship and be able to construct something with it, and do that in the same. I don't need all 3 of them, but I guess if it's my perfect ship, I guess I wouldn't want to leave the ship. So yes, I'll say refining, but only it's kind of like the Quantanium thing in the Odyssey, where the Odyssey can mine it, but it can only use it for its own purposes. Like I would want it to be limited like that. Like you couldn't just bring random refined materials to this ship and refine them. It would be like if you build something in this science lab or whatever, then it feeds directly into this refinery, and that can only be used for building stuff. And then it pops out on the other end of the construction side. And then the construction side can only build like buildings and stuff. It can't build or anything like that. It can only build buildings, right? And so this is, again, I'm trying to limit the ship to where it kind of has a full loop within it, but it's not everything. It can't do everything, right? So it wouldn't be able to build space stations. It wouldn't be able to build ships. Specifically, ground structures it can build, but it can build any ground structure, right? As blueprints, right, and stuff like that. And then I would want that ship to be a freaking powerhouse as far as turrets. I want quad size 6s on every. I want like 2 quad size 6s, quad size 6 turrets, and I want 2 quad size 7 turrets, and then I want size 1 missiles and size 7 torpedoes. That's ridiculous, but you said my perfect ship, and it's a capital ship, so that's not too crazy to ask. 4 turrets, size 6, size 7, and then a bunch of size 1 missiles. No, wait. No, I said that wrong. Not size 6. Not size 6 torpedo. Size 7. Let me rephrase that. I got a little carried away, okay? Size 7 turrets. And then size 3 turrets. So I would want 2 size 7 quad turrets, and then I would want 4 size 3 quad turrets to cover the rest of the ship. Front and back should be size 7, and all the rest of the sides covered with quad size 3s. And then I would want size 1 missiles and size 7 torpedo, or no, not size 1, size 2 missiles, and then size 7 torpedoes, and a ton of size 2 missiles, and then like, maybe 8 size 7 torpedoes. And there you have it. That's my ship. And just to put some razzle dazzle on it, some size 5, 3 size 5 pilot control weapons. Why not? It's my ship, right? 3 size 5 pilot controlled weapons, I think. It's just, why not? Hey, it's my ship. Yeah, so there you have it. That's my perfect ship. I mean, those are all the things I'm interested in, like a kind of a battleship science construction ship. Like, let's call it like a military construction ship. Science and construction ship. Like, I feel like it would be the perfect, like, if you've ever heard of the Navy Seabees in the United States, I think it would be like the perfect ship for them, because they kind of build stuff. They're like engineers and stuff. I mean, as far as I know, I think they built one of the bases I stayed in when I was in Afghanistan. So, like, I think it would be the perfect ship for them. It can fight, they can do their research and stuff to build stuff, and then they can actually build with it. A long time ago, there were told Chris Robert will do a Wing Commander as MMO. So far, that was supposed to be pure PvE, since Wing Commander is PvE only. Right now, I'm afraid of that extensive PvP play will on long terms frustrate PvE players and give a reason for them to quit, so Star Citizen will die, as others very promising games like Starbase or Dual Universe. What do you think? What will be the best way to give everyone that same access to the game without forcing them into PvP play? I think there will be, like Todd Pappy said last CitizenCon, I think you're going to have the high security, mid security, and low security. Low security is going to be PvP crazy. Mid security is going to be like a balance of, I think they're going to try to make that like the balanced area where you get a little bit of PvE, a little bit of PvP. And they'll use, NPCs to kind of balance that out. Like if PvP gets a little crazy in that area, like they'll send out more NPCs to keep it like half and half. And then I think you'll have high security, which will be mostly PvE. And I think PvP gameplay in high security will be punished more heavily, whereas PvE gameplay will still be possible in all, but it'll just be like harder to do in those like lower security areas. So that's kind of the way I think they'll balance it. But I also think there will be more PvP risky things you can do, right? If you're doing combat stuff where you're always going out searching for people, searching for a fight, you're probably going to run into more PvP stuff. If you're doing stuff that's outside of the planet more, like where you're going back and forth, you're more likely to run into PvP. But if you stay on a planet, probably less likely to run into PvP, right? If you're doing, stuff where you only go into certain planets and you're only going to safer areas, and if you're going on trade routes that are more heavily secured, I think you can control it to a degree. And I think, if you're wanting more PvP, you just stay in those high security areas, and I think it'll work out that way. And I also think with as large as this universe is going to be, you're not going to run into as many PvP players as you think. I mean, it's just going to be mostly to fill out these universes. It's mostly going to be NPCs. And I think you'll have people who are obviously always trolling and trying to grief. And those people will search you out. So you will run into it, but I don't think it'll be like any other MMO in that regard, where it'll happen rarely. I don't think it'll happen every single time you play. Yeah, and I think the ban hammer will come down on people who try to make it become that. Yeah, as long as it's not legit gameplay, because obviously some pirating and stuff like that is legit gameplay, so that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying legit griefing and harassment in the game. I think the ban hammer will be pretty heavy. Yeah, so yeah. And then this one is the capital of Assyria. What is the capital of Assyria? I know what you were doing with that question, Palantan, but I answered it because you didn't know that I know, but I know. So I'll let everybody else go in and read my reply to that one. But yeah, that is all the questions. I don't know how long this video was. I'm sure it's at least an hour long. But there it is. I answered a bunch of questions. This is kind of just to give everybody kind of a insight into how the lives are gonna. I started with the members, of course, but I will also do one of these. By the time this comes out, you should see something. Go to the website, go to the community tab, and you'll see, like, I have a post there, and it'll be asking for questions, kind of like CIG does, where they do the theirs in lives. I thought that was a good idea to just take their thing and use it for myself. So whichever one gets the most likes, the top 3, I will for sure ask or answer. And then I'll have one for members, and then I'll have one for subscribers, or body really. And then, so that's at least 6 questions every time I do this that'll get asked. And then, of course, I'll take questions live, or if there's no questions live, or not that many. The stream is supposed to last an hour. I'll probably try to keep it to that, because I do have a life. I have a life. I have a wife. I have kids. So so I need to not be at the computer 24/7. But yeah, if things get a little too calm, then I'll go and I'll start answering those questions. Or maybe if there's like a lull or something, I'll go back and look at some of the questions outside of those 6 that I originally chose. And I think that'll just keep the show going. So if there's no questions, or if I'm end up on the stream by myself and there's nobody that shows up, then yeah, I'll just go and answer as many questions as I can in an hour. So yeah, there you have it. I hope you like this new type of content, and look forward to more of these. I think maybe on the days where I can't make the live session, I'll just do something like this and I'll record it later, so that way everybody still gets some questions answered. And if you miss a live session, or I miss a live session and I can't do it, I'll just do one of these. So there you have it. Again. All right, I will see you in the next one. Shout out to the members. Thanks for spending your time with us.